Mike, check. Justin Hunt. It's all happening. Thank you to everybody rocking with the channel. Thank you to everybody subscribed through the channel, share the video, share the link. It's priceless. Big thank you to everyone who's donated. If you'd like to donate, hit the Cash App right up there, or you can hit the link in the description. Big shout out to everybody in my Discord. Shout out to everybody in the Discord. I was in the Discord last week. We're having a good conversation about whether or not people should feel offended when people say that hip hop is black music. These are the kind of things we talk about in the Discord. I think there's a lot of people in the Discord too. Shout out to everyone who loves this Cardi B album. A lot of positive praise coming for her sophomore release 7 years later. I'll put a link in the description if you'd like to join. Big shout out to Javen, Ant, and Lils for holding it down over there. 9-second applause to you all. Word up. Now, big announcement. We know now finally who is headlining the Super Bowl. And the headlining artist is Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is headlining the Super Bowl. This coming Super Bowl, 9-second applause to Bad Bunny. Now, the thing I love about this, I'll be honest, is we've talked quite a bit about Bad Bunny this year, particularly in Chart Report. Now, his latest album, Tiara Mas Fotos, Debbie Tiara Mas Fotos, right? Pardon my Spanish, I try every week. I've been talking about this since it came out all year, that this is a potential album of the year candidate. One, it falls into the regional sound trend line that we're on right now. We saw that with Metro Boomin, we saw that with Redman, we've seen that with Kendrick Lamar, of course. We've seen that with Chance the Rapper. We've seen that with a number of artists leaning into regional sounds. And this album does that too. This album is a love letter to Puerto Rico. Right? It's an American colony, right? It's a colony of America, American territory, however they label it. So it's still an American performing at the Super Bowl, contrary to what a lot of tweets seem to think. But let's take a look at some of the reactions to what's happening right now. Now take a look here. This is what the commercial looks like. Let's take a look. That's hard. I'm not mad at that. Clean art direction here. 1-second applause. Now, here's a quick quote from Bad Bunny that was released along with this announcement. He says, "I've been thinking about it these days, and after discussing it with my team, I think I'll do just one date in the United States." Love that quote. Now, that is a quote. We talked about that again on Chart Report last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, how Bad Bunny decided not to do American dates for his tour that he's on now, because he was concerned with ICE. He didn't want to subject his fans to potentially ICE pulling up and abducting people, right? So I respect that. This is it's tongue-in-cheek when it comes to this. And of course, no better date than the Super Bowl. 1-second applause. All right, so here's another quote from Bad Bunny. He says, "What I'm feeling goes beyond myself, is for those who came before me and ran countless yards so I can come in and score a touchdown. This is for my people, my culture, and our history." I like that too, Bad Bunny. Not bad at that. 1-second applause. And so there's a lot of people who, might not be familiar with how big Bad Bunny is. We know how big he is here because we talk about him on Chart Report every week, because he's been a mainstay on Chart Report every week for the past year, at least since this project has come out. And so, but here's some stats, man. Debbie Tiara Mas Fotos by Bad Bunny becomes the first album released in 2025 to surpass 7 billion streams on Spotify. 7 billion streams. That's just this year. That's just with his most recent project. Bad Bunny, his Twitter account has some fun with this too, because there's a lot of talk about, we're about to have an all Spanish language Super Bowl performance. So they posted this. They said, "We are so ready." Here's Bad Bunny on stage, speaking non-English, singing non-English. I thought that was a trip. 1-second applause. Now, I was telling you last week on Chart Report how a friend of mine watched the Bad Bunny performance in Puerto Rico. I think it was the first date of his tour, and I think that was on Amazon, and she was blown away. She was not a Bad Bunny fan going into it. She came out of it a big Bad Bunny fan. Also inspired her to start trying to speak Spanish. So 1-second applause to her. So here's some more. "Many are doubting the potential of a Bad Bunny as a Super Bowl halftime performer when he's literally the biggest star in Latin music right now. the biggest superstar in Latin music. And they have the Cardi B meme right here from her court case. 1 second applause. All right, so here's some more stuff. It says, LOL, not just in Latin music. He's clearly majority of English-speaking artists too. Excuse me, he's clearing a majority of English-speaking artists too, effortlessly. Bad Bunny's Un Verano Sin Ti is the most streamed album of all time on Spotify, over 20.5 billion streams. I mean, this is one of those things. Last year, I don't know if this was an interview, I don't know if this is a quote that went out there when they were talking about, when Jay-Z was talking about why Kendrick made sense. I don't know if it was, maybe I saw someone else talk about the conversation they had with Hov, whatever. They said it just made sense. It was Kendrick's year. The pop out went crazy on Amazon. He had just blown the numbers out the planet with Not Like Us in the whole rap battle. Whatever project he was going to release at that time, again, because this was announced prior to GNX coming out, we knew it was going to be big, and GNX ended up being big. So it just made sense that there was so much energy behind everything that Dot was doing that it made sense for him to rock the Super Bowl. And I think we can say the same about Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's had a #1 album. He is a mainstay on the Billboard charts. We cover it every week. 7 billion for this most recent album, and he's also has the most streamed album of all time on Spotify. He just did the Amazon performance, which went crazy. So we've seen that same sort of buildup when it came to last year's decision and this year's decision. You can even say the year before, because Usher was killing it in Vegas with his residency. And I think that's probably part of a pretty consistent thread of performers at the Super Bowl these past few years when it comes to Roc Nation's decision to choose the person to headline that, right? What were their previous shows looking like? Were they able to capture a big audience prior to the Super Bowl while live on stage, right? We see it with Bad Bunny, we see it with Dot, now we see it, and we saw it with Usher, right? So I think that this makes a lot of sense, okay? Now, this is where other people might have some problems with it. Shout out to T Love Speaks. She said, why Too Short not doing the Super Bowl? He from the Bay. Y'all bogus. Roc Nation always trying to steal black people's shine. 1 second applause. Now, clearly she's joking. This is tongue-in-cheek right here. There's police outside, but they are not coming to arrest her because they understand that this is tongue-in-cheek right now, too. But this is clearly a play off of last year's Super Bowl with everyone saying that about Lil Wayne. About Lil Wayne. Why wasn't Lil Wayne chosen to do the Super Bowl in New Orleans? Well, Lil Wayne's live shows don't be looking that great. And truthfully, they still not looking that great. I haven't done a story on these, but I've been watching clips from Lil Wayne's concerts, and they look like they did prior to the performance. Having a dope live show, having a business card that shows, yo, this is what I can do on stage, seems to be very important. But shout out to T Love Speaks throwing that nice little shade right there. 1 second applause. All right, so here's another one. It says, some folks are about to be irrationally angry about an absolutely incredible Spanish language Super Bowl halftime show. And that's the not so elephant in the room, right? Clearly, Bad Bunny decided not to do dates on mainland United States because of ICE. He decided not to do it for his tour. And now he'll be here at the Super Bowl. Now, this definitely has some broader ramifications. And I think last year we probably saw something similar when it came to Dot at the Super Bowl as well, at least definitely in how Dot executed his performance. There was all kinds of messages, hidden meanings, and subtle middle fingers thrown to the administration. I'm not sure if Bad Bunny's going to take that route as well, but there's a lot of people who are reading into this decision based on the landscape of things that are happening in the United States. You could say the Spanish language thing, but also at the same time, this is a performance on the biggest stage that is contrary to the political movement that's taking place in the United States. I'm all about it. 1 second applause. At a time in our country where Trump has ICE putting so many innocent Latinos in concentration camps and ripping apart families, having Bad Bunny, someone who has opposed Trump openly during the Super Bowl, do the Super Bowl halftime show is such a powerful, amazing statement. And this one comes from Bella Love Note. I think so too, Bella. 1 second, applause. Bad Bunny was the most streamed artist on Spotify for 3 years in a row and has the most streamed album in history. I don't think the NFL cares about if your feelings are hurt. Now, this is Brandon Wolf, and he's responding directly to Benny Johnson. And Benny Johnson is a conservative mouthpiece who has a problem with Bad Bunny. Here's what he said. This is Bad Bunny. He was just announced as the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. Massive Trump hater, anti-ICE activist, no songs in English. He even canceled his entire US tour for this reason. Effing ICE could be outside my concert, and it's something that we were talking about and very concerned about. The NFL is self-destructing year after year. Self-destructing. Well, last year was the most viewed Super Bowl ever. And it was the most viewed Super Bowl halftime show ever. And I thought that these guys were still boycotting after Kaepernick. Okay, maybe they gave that up a long time ago. But this is the reaction from the right. This is a very common reaction that we're seeing to this. And so I think there is some intentionality, or maybe this is the icing on the cake, right? Because if you look at just Bad Bunny's numbers, if you look at what his shows do, what his live experience is like, you look at where he's from, all those things are very uniquely American. All those things have him more than qualified to perform. But at the same time, as Benny Johnson just said, massive Trump hater, anti-ICE activists, no songs in English. Yeah, there's a lot of people who get their feathers ruffled by that. So we're going to go back to that previous tweet again, because Bad Bunny was the most streamed artist on Spotify for 3 years in a row and has the most streamed album in history. I don't think the NFL cares if your feelings are hurt. Yeah, well, 1 second applause. Check this one out, too. I thought this was funny. Republicans calling ICE on Bad Bunny during the Super Bowl halftime show. I don't know how far away from the truth that is. And it's sad to say, and I say that because there was a story in Georgia where a woman who was running, I believe she was running for office in Georgia, found out that the Hunte, I think it is, was building a plant in Georgia. And they had a bunch of people from South Korea building the plant. So what they did was they had the experts who know how to build this plant, because Americans, we're not trained in this type of technology in the same way. We build the plant, they build the plant, then they're going to teach everybody how to do the work, and then Americans will be hired for the job. This lady called ICE, said that there's hundreds of Koreans working. I know they have to be illegal. That's basically how the story went. ICE comes in and arrests them all, arrests all these people, and sent them back to South Korea. And that became, it still is right now, a big problem, a huge problem, because South Korea was building the plant. They were supposed to build the plant here so they can make electric Hyundais or whatever they're going to make and give jobs to Americans. But before the plant is built, the Americans don't know how to build the plant. So they got to build the plant so that then the Americans can work the jobs. But she was so caught up in the fact that they weren't American. She called ICE, and now it's a huge international incident. The governor of Georgia's had to go to South Korea. Hey, man, sorry about that. You know, we're not really that bad. We've heard Trump's had to soften his language when it came to that particular incident. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars worth of investment. And because some lady running for office said, they look illegal, let's get them out of here. And that was part of an international trade deal. Okay. So I don't know. This one right here, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. I just thought that was a funny meme that might be a little on the nose. So 1 second applause to that. All right, here's another one. Benito Antonio Martinez Ascasio, a.k.a. Bad Bunny, is officially this year's Super Bowl halftime performer. The show will take place at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Shout out to my Niners. And I will be the first to say that this is incredibly serendipitous and petty and perfect. Wepa! 1 second applause to you. Now, this morning, Bad Bunny actually called into Ebro and Zane Lowe and talked about his reaction to being selected. And I think it's pretty interesting. So let's hear the man in his own words.
And headline the Super Bowl.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I think it's also the result about just do things with the heart. I'm always doing my best and am working with so much passion and also I'm still working that I'm a rookie. I'm still hungry to conquer and to show what I can do to the people. It's crazy because I think everyone already know what I'm capable to do, but I'm still want to surprise and look, I can do this. Look, I can do this, and that's what I like it. And I'm very grateful to live this moment with all my people.
There's a lot of people, Bunny.
That's a beautiful statement right there. 1 second applause to Bad Bunny. And I'm gonna close out with this one because I do think this is really dope. This is from Guame Huyen. I butchered that. No disrespect, Guame. But we do not talk about the artistry that goes into every single Super Bowl halftime show. And these are the last 4 Super Bowls and what they put together. I think this is actually pretty cool. Like, if you really look at this. The art direction has been fantastic. Obviously, we've seen last year's. With Kendrick, we've got, this is Usher right here, Bad Bunny. And so these are a lot of thought and a lot of work goes into selecting who performs at the Super Bowl. Always a lot of hype around it. I think we can see a pattern. We can definitely see what's the energy you're having in the current year. How great are your live shows? Can you move people online and can you move people in person? And when it comes to Bad Bunny, I think he fits the description quite a bit. I wouldn't necessarily say that there's some macro things, whether or not you fit into them. That's part of the decision, but I think it's kind of hard not to avoid that too over these past 2 years particularly. Let me know what you guys think. Am I surprised by this? Slightly. I think Bad Bunny fits. I think DJ had called this earlier. And I think last year there was a funny tweet where somebody said, people, what did he say? Oh, I can't find that tweet. What did that tweet say? That tweet said something like, he said something like, people were so mad about Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl next year, the NFL is going to pull out Bad Bunny. And that actually happened. I think there was also a lot of people who thought that maybe it might be Taylor Swift or it might be Adele or it might be something that caters more to the, directly caters more, or country music, caters more directly to the majority population. I definitely wouldn't have been surprised. In my mind, I was like, it's probably going to be Taylor or Uyuk Gross Morgan Wallen. You know what I mean? And but it came out with Bad Bunny, and I'm all about it. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. My name is Justin Hunt. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow @TheCompany Man on everything, including the Company Man podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping in. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dabbing it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, dog, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.